Hi, welcome to another new episode of MoFIT Talks, episode 7. And today I'm going to talk to you about volume. Alright, so what is volume? So when we talk about food, right, nutrition, the other day that, remember I shared with you in the previous video, we talked about calories, right? Calories is the most effective way to sort of manipulate whether you're going to gain weight or going to lose weight. So today we're going to talk about volume, as in the world of training, right? Like going to the gym. Volume is sort of like a currency, which I'll explain later why it's like a currency. It's like a currency. Where the bigger the currency is, the more purchasing power, right? So same thing, the more volume that one can handle, chances are he or she is a stronger or better or having more muscle kind of individual. So I'm going to take my time and I do my best to explain. If any questions, feel free to comment them below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So let's get into it. So in the past, I also didn't know what volume is. When we talk about volume, we talk like we're doing like very heavy, or so we picture a lot of volume, someone doing very heavy, or either one person is doing a lot of reps. Chances are, to make this easier, volume is just a simple calculation of a sets, your reps and your weights. Okay, so before we start anything, just to clarify, because I'll be using these words a lot. Okay, reps means you are doing, like for example, if I say 5 reps, means you're doing 5 reps of squat. Example, it means like squat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Then you rest. Okay, that is called 5 reps. Okay, so when you have 5 reps, then I ask you to do 3 sets. It means that you sort of as following: you do 1 to 5, you rest. Okay, then you proceed 1 to 5, you rest. 1 to 5, and then you rest. So you do this 3 times, it's considered as 3 sets. Okay, so far so good. So reps, sets, and weights, well, the amount of load you put on the bar, machine, dumbbell, or anything that you're about to pick up and do the following weights. Okay, think about this way. Think of someone who does a lot of volume. Let's say someone in the gym. If I were to ask someone who can do, for example, a squat, if someone who can squat for 100 kilos, or 200 kilos for 10 reps, versus someone who can only do 60 kilos for 10 reps, okay, chances are the one who can do 200 kilos for 10 reps, definitely the muscle is way bigger or much stronger, needless to say, compared to one who do 60 kilos for 10 reps. So when people ask how much volume, it means that what is the sets, the reps, and the weights that one can handle. Okay, sometimes the line gets a little bit blur, you see. Like for example, there's a 4 sets of 6 of 100 kilos, just to make it easier, versus a 3 sets of 8 of 100 kilo. Which has more volume? Okay, because more volume, chances are more muscle growth, right? So 3 times 8 or 4 times 6. So people are very confused. Okay, to explain a little bit further, easier for you to understand, so see as the following. So volume is defined as the sets times the reps times the weight, right? So remember just now we talked about 3 times 8 or 4 times 6, which one will grow more? If one person will do this, person will do that. Well, the answer is the same. Why? Let's get into it. Sets 3 times 8, right? You times this, you get 2004. Vice versa, 4 times 6 is 2004, right? So what are the sort of like, which is better? Well, both of them are equally good, but maybe there's a slightly a bit advantage of doing the 3 times 8, because logically speaking, a 3 times 8 will definitely finish it a bit faster compared to a 4 times 6, because 4 sets looks a bit more. Again, this is a personal preference. Otherwise, some people rest a bit longer, they have the luxury to play around with the time, so they can do 4 times 6. Whereas if someone who is want to build muscle growth, they like the intensity, they like a bit of the pump, so to speak, then maybe doing a 3 times 8 is not a bad idea. But in the end of the day, it is still volume. As long as volume are the same, so both of them are equally beneficial. The best example that I will give is as the following. It's like saying 1 kilogram of stone and a 1 kilogram of feather, which is heavier. So you get the idea. Okay, always understand that the to have built more muscle is always volume. Why? A stronger muscle, well, you move more things, you can grow more muscle, as we discussed just now. So this is why volume does matter a lot. However, in an ideal world, we want to slowly to see improvement, right? Especially if your goal is to gain muscle, by the way, is to slowly increase your volume. So think of your volume like a stock market, right? It was not going to up a lot, right? The stock market is not going to up like $1 or $2, right? Up maybe a 1 cent, 2 cents, sometimes drop 2 cents up. But as long as you pull the data, as long as it's slowly trending up, then you're on a good track. That means that the volume, you're getting stronger and stronger. And I can show you one day, if you can do a, say example, a 30 kilo squat versus a 100 kilo squat versus a 200 kilo squat, like for reps, yeah. I'm pretty sure that 200 kilos rep and your 30 kilo rep guy, it's going to be two different legs over there. So hopefully you get the idea on how volume sort of influence the muscle growth. So just now we talked about muscle growth. So here you go. Okay. So I'm going to place it a little bit closer. Okay. So for volume, right? So if your volume increase, I can check. Remember just now you said if you can handle a lot of weights and do a lot of volume, probably you're going to grow. So this is a good example. So example, last time, right? I use myself for example. When 3 times, I can only do 3 sets of 8 for 60 kilos. Back then I do, I'm very tired already. So my volume is as following. But now, I can do a 4 sets of 10 for 100 kilos. So this means that my volume, so check out the volume difference. It bumped up almost double. So this means that I have quite a lot of progression over there. And with that being said, my leg size definitely grow throughout the entire journey. So this is just one of the few examples that I will show you, okay, later on, that how volume works. Okay, so with that being said, you need to understand that all this volume didn't just didn't just happen like 2 months or even 2 weeks. This is years, months and months, and even some years of consistency of training, and that is how you get the volume increase. Remember, like I said, stock market doesn't up $1 or $2 a day, it's up 1 or 2 cents. But as time goes by, as you increase, then that will be very good for you. Okay. So this is a another example to show you. So what you can do, right, as a beginner, right? I recommend you nothing crazy, but as you can see, the volume will grow. So I'm going to use these examples here. Let's say you do a 5 sets of 5 of, let's say, bench press, right? So you do 5 sets of 5, and then you do for your, let's say your heaviest load you can put for now is the empty bar, 20 kilos, right? Just example, by the way. Okay, so when you do this, reps, the sets times reps times weight, your volume will be as followings, right? But check out on, let's say on the second session you do this, you add this. So this one you will end up, having some weights here. So you can see the volume slowly increase from 500 to 562.5. And then on the third session, when you do a bench press again, you notice it becomes 625. So in other words, remember I told you, like the stock market, you are slowly trending up. And that if you are around this area, so you can see as you're trending up, that is a good sign. So just now, the example that I showed to you, right, is for a beginner, so to speak. So beginner is defined like you are new to the gym, you've never lifted weights, you can start from there. Most beginners' problem is that they thought an add weight, they go and take a 5 kilo, boom, put at both sides. Actually, that's not what I mean. For a beginner, I think you can start with even a very, very small thing. For example, take a 1.25. So in gyms, most gyms have like a 1.25 or 2.5 kilo plates. Use those small. And, as you add on the first session, imagine you just add 1.25 plate in a week, right? When it comes to week 10, you're going to add like what? 10, that will be 10 kilos already, right? So a little bit goes all the way. So don't do crazy jumps. This is not only to, don't let you die in front of the barbell, so to speak. And also, to prevent you from any unwanted injury, especially when you are new. When you haven't even seen the results, you already get all the aches and pains and injuries. That is not worth the trade, right? So to speak. Want to look for some new beginner program? You can mini plug here. You can try out my new WTF 3 days weekly program, which is available for free by just joining our Facebook group. You can get all the details over there. I'll put the link below to join my Facebook group, and you can find the free program. But if you some reason you just find don't want to try it, I'll try my real thing, then you can go to I'm going to drop maybe some link or even some suggestion if I can find. It's called the Starting Strength 5x5 or a Strong Lift 5x5. And that's a very good place to start, just for you to practice the weights, doing classic good old barbell trainings, but and get strong over time. And then that's how, remember I said, the more volume that you can handle, the stronger your muscle is, and that you can do more things in the long run. So just now I share with you about that one is for someone who is a beginner, you know, that you can put weight every single time. But what about someone who is a little bit more intermediate, so to speak? You're trained for 1 or 2 years, you know, your weight keeps stalling, you know. I got an example for that, so hang on, okay? So let's give you an example for someone who has been training in the gym for 1 or 2 years already. Again, these are just arbitrary numbers, so they are not like, you know, like really live and die by for. These are not like a beginner or intermediate number, it's just an example. So let's say the bro says, you know, okay, assuming his training technique is correct and also his recovery and diet is on point. That is the most important thing. If those are not in check, I'm sorry to tell you, I don't want to burst your bubbles, but forget it. Master those first. Then only you come and talk about all this volume thing. If not, it's just not going to make the cut, alright? Are you eating right? Are you sleeping well? You don't tick all those boxes, there's nothing much can be done. But assuming all this is done, then I'll get this into it, okay? So, let's say you can only do 20 kilo bench press, for example, for, you know, you'll be stuck there for 6 weeks and for 6 months or so. If you can't up the weight for some, or you have an injury, every time you just put a let's say you do a 1.25 or 2.5 kilo jump, and then once it comes to 22.5 kilo jump, it just hurts you, you know, you just couldn't do it. Okay, no worry. Well, how can we improve it? Well, this is just an example of how you can improve without even adding weights. So, there you go. Last time, let's say you can do 3 times 8 for 20. Your volume is as such. But, if one day you decided to slowly improve, fast forward, you managed to do this for this and also this. Check out the volume that you do. You almost doubled the volume. So I can show you one day you can do this consistently for reps, no problem. And versus here, it's not going to be a very significant difference of muscle, but I can show you there's a bit of muscle growth going on. So you can always play around with the rep range. So you can go 3 times 8, you know, you can go 4 times 6. Like just now the example I show you, or you can go to example like if you have 4 times 10, you know, progress with 4 times 12. You can manipulate around. So it's not always the weight. You can also manipulate the sets and reps. Okay. In an ideal situation, we want to keep up our volume as we discussed. But however, when reality checks, sometimes things don't go all the ways like this. Because for example, just logically speaking, let's say if you start with an empty bar. 1 week you can add 1.25 kilos on each side. So if we keep up our volume, let's just use weight for example, it'd be very awesome, right? Because in a year you'll be squatting 52 kilos, you know, per side. That would be fantastic, you know. If you do it for 4 years, wow, that'll be 200 kilos, right? As much as we wish it's like this, but sometimes in reality it doesn't really happen. So what we can take from here is that vary around the volume. That means don't just focus so much on the weights. Besides, when you also up your weight, make sure your form is correct. Okay, assuming all this whole topic, your form, your nutrition, your recovery is all in check, by the way. So let's say if the weight is too much for you, you can do the example I show you just now. Instead of 8 reps, you can manipulate the reps. Maybe you can do lesser, but in exchange, a higher weight, right? So just to put logic in the place is that if your weight is higher, your reps will be lower. Make sense? Vice versa, if your reps are higher, definitely your weights needs to go down so that you can balance, right? It'd be crazy if it's high rep and high weight. You know, that'll be very difficult. Too hard to do that volume. Okay, so how much volume is too much volume? Well, there is a very wide there's a very wide spectrum because everyone's volume is different. Your volume for me might not be a volume for you. A volume for you might not be a volume for me. Maybe it's too easy for me, or maybe it's too hard for me. They'll be very, very different. So my suggestion is the following: you just go to the gym, just do what you can. Don't worry about how much volume or too much volume. Just go see if you can keep, you know, changing some manipulation. Maybe it's a rep, or it's a set, or it's the weight. Do whatever you want. Okay, so at the end of the day, most important, you push yourself, but you're testing waters. That means I'm not asking you to put to increase your volume by 50%. I'm just asking you to increase maybe just 2%, 3%. A little bit goes all the way. Refer back to my stock market analogy, right? So you don't up stock market doesn't just up boom $1 and boom $5 down. It's usually like 5 cents, 10 cents. The most 15 cents. After that, you will drop a bit, 7 cents. But at the end of the day, you pull the data, you're slowly trending up in a slow, controlled fashion. and to make things sweeter, your nutrition, everything is in check, your recovery is all good, then and your training is consistent, proper form, proper technique, I can assure you, ladies and gentlemen, you are already on, I would say, 80 to 90% your way to your fitness goal success already. Okay, so that's all for me for today. If any question, feel free to drop the comment below, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, peace and MoFIT.